tell you one thing. Whoever set us up is really connected.
What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing?
Relax. Soak. And don't flatter yourself.
Meet Ray Tango. He likes money.
Easy come, easy go.
But doesn't bother with cash. Meet Gabe Cash. He won't dance around trouble and doesn't mind stepping on toes.
I hate you karate guys.
Two of LA's top rival cops are having a good time staying in rhythm.
You know me, huh?
Yeah, I hear you're the second best cop in LA.
That's funny. I hear the same thing about you.
But they're going to have to work together, even if it kills them.
Like now!
We'll take it.
No,
That's one of a kind.
we won't put a scratch on it. Did you sleep with my sister?
I was so drunk, I don't remember, okay?
Sylvester Stallone and Kurt Russell. Tango and Cash.
Welcome back to another joint review with my good friend here, Mr. P from the Mr. P movie channel.
Hey, what up, guys? How you keeping?
I hope everybody out there is doing well. Today we are going to be bringing you a joint retro flashback review of a classic of ours, Tango and Cash. Tango and Cash is a 1989 American buddy cop action comedy which stars again Sylvester Stallone and Kurt Russell, Jack Palance and Terry Hatcher. Stallone and Russell star as Raymond Tango and Gabriel Cash, and who are two of the best LAPD narcotic detectives, and who are forced to work together when criminal mastermind Yves Perret, played by the late great Jack Palance, puts them both in jail for murder. The film was chiefly directed by, what's that guy's name?
Andrei Konchalovsky.
Andrei Konchalovsky.
There's a mouthful for you.
Yeah, there's a mouthful. With Albert Magnoli and Peter MacDonald taking over in the late stages of filming, with Stuart Baird overseeing the post-production.
Yeah. Tango and Cash, believe it or not, Joe, was a very troubled shoot, purely because of rewrites, clashes between the producers and the directors, the visions weren't connecting, and the film was delayed by filming, went over budget, and it was released later than anticipated. And you wouldn't believe it, but on the whole, whoever's vision it was, Tango and Cash is still a guilty pleasure. It's still
after all its troubles, it still worked out, and
exactly,
it was a great film.
Still one of the best films of the late 80s. And you got two different style of actors, Stallone and Kurt Russell, working together. And
the first time as well, yeah. And they haven't worked together since.
No,
which
they haven't.
Is a shame.
I mean, they were in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, but again, they were in like separate roles.
Yeah. I doubt they were on screen.
Yeah, they didn't share screen time. But still a cracking film, and it's a film that from the opening sequence grabs you. So when in the first scene where we see the tanker truck sequence, where we see Stallone.
Let's talk about Stallone's intro, yeah.
Stallone is trying to intercept a drug, like a truck filled with like cocaine. And it's got the late great Robert Zarr driving the truck. And what I love most about Stallone's character was the fact that we see a different style of Stallone.
Yeah.
If you look at the previous films that he's done, he's played pretty much rugged, tough guys. But in this film, he's a more dapper, elegant, charming, sophisticated character wearing glasses, which we haven't seen him do before. So this was a different type of character that Stallone was playing. And even from the opening sequence, it's exhilarating, where we see Ray Tango empty out all his bullets, put in a new clip, fire 3 shots into the truck to get it to stop. And when they stop, you see the cars fly through the window, don't we? And again, Tango and Cash, loaded with corny one-liners.
Great.
Corny one-liners, but they work. Because when the guys land on the floor, what does he say? Glad you could drop in.
He also takes the mick out of his past movie, doesn't he?
Oh, yes. I mean, I'm glad you mentioned that, because there's a scene where the guy asks him, who the hell does he think he is? He thinks he's Rambo, and someone says, Rambo is a pussy. Yeah. And the funny thing was, Rambo was actually released the year previously. So I like the way that they did that. Clever nods to his film. Right. And also, another actor who is starting another film that we enjoyed, that we did a review on, Jeffrey Lewis.
Jeffrey Lewis, yeah, he's Uncle Frankie in Double Impact. Yeah, he's got a small role as
his sergeant.
The sergeant, yeah. Of course, on the flip side, we've got Kurt Russell, who plays Gabriel Cash, all opposite of Ray Tango.
Absolutely.
And he's brash. He's in your face, and he does whatever he has to do to get the job done.
And he doesn't care how he dresses. You know, he's not there to dress properly.
Right.
He's just there to...
And he probably doesn't do paperwork. If you look at them both, you definitely know that Ray Tango does the paperwork, and Gabriel Cash doesn't. But yeah, that's what makes this film work. Stallone and Russel's performances. So we meet Kurt Russell, and he's chasing after a Chinese triad who is part of Yves Perret's gang. Who Yves Perret is played by the late great Jack Palance, and he catches up with this Chinese guy after having a scuffle with him, and takes him to the police station where he questions him by almost choking him with one of those old school 80s police chairs. And that goes to show you the difference between the two cops. Again, going by what I said, with one being brash and the other being more thoughtful, more calculated.
Absolutely. And also, you know what? Also, there was a really, really good car chase in the car park there with Kurt Russell and between the Chinese guy, which is really well orchestrated.
That's right. I forgot about the scene where he gets shot, and we think, what? He's already dead. And obviously he had a bulletproof vest on.
And then also we then get to see Ray Tango again, dapper as always, in the police station, and we see him be introduced to a very, very young Terry Hatcher,
who plays his sister.
Precisely. And then we don't know it at the time. Again, that was really, really clever the way they did it. Because the way that they talked about it, we thought, okay, maybe they were ex-husband and wife, or boyfriend and girlfriend.
They don't tell you straight away,
Yeah. But it was really, really good the way that they did that. And we see at his station, he gets information from Jeffrey Lewis's character about a drug bust. The same information that Kurt Russell gets.
That's right.
And it all leads up to them meeting, but also we also get to see another character that's introduced, and we get to find out more of, which is Jack Palance's character.
He's correct. Yeah, he's the big bad for the movie, and I thought he was just fantastic. You know, he plays the classic villain, and that bit where he explains his plan to put Tango and Cash behind bars was just hilarious.
Oh yeah,
where he uses the two mice. Is it mice or rat?
They're mice. They're rodents.
He uses two rodents to explain to his henchmen who want Ray Tango and Gabriel Cash killed to get it over and done with. But obviously, Yves Perret thinks differently, and being the head of the organization, goes along with his plan. And the way he explains it with the two mice inside the maze was hilarious, really. Absolutely. And he also likes to sniff mice. By the way. He likes to sniff mice.
Oh boy!
But yeah, the plan was really well orchestrated.
Very well orchestrated.
Which takes us on to the next scene, where we see Gabriel Cash and Ray Tango
meet up.
Meet up in this abandoned warehouse.
Oh yeah.
Obviously they don't. They both go there individually. They don't know that each or the other one was going there, and they finally meet each other and break into this room, and we find this person dead on a chair.
Yeah.
And this is part of the setup from Yves Perret and his gang. And as soon as they realise that something strange is going on,
because it was Ray Tango that actually realised. Because when he saw that the guy was wired, he was like, okay, why the hell was he wired?
That's right. And the conversation they have in that room is very important, because they twist and turn it later on in the movie, which is how they screw him over in court.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that was a very good scene, because that sets the tone for the rest of the movie.
Precisely. And again, just to see these two guys on a screen together interacting was really, really good, because there was a button of egos. He said, like, listen, I heard you're the second best cop in LA. Huh?
Yeah, that's right. It's great. They're always bickering at each other. It's your classic story of two
mismatched
detectives who eventually become friends. A little bit like Lethal Weapon. Exactly. Films that have all gone before and after that. These films.
Precisely. And again, we've seen it all before, and this formula could have come across as a bit strained and a bit tired, but because of their performances and their likability,
That's
works.
right. The film had many troubles.
Precisely.
The one trouble there wasn't is the chemistry between Stallone and Russell. I thought they were fantastic together.
Absolutely. And then when we see these guys then go through the court process.
Yeah, the court process.
That was a really, really exhilarating scene. You know, and again, from a narrative perspective, one thing that was an issue for me was that certain characters were introduced that we didn't know about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the guy who played, they nicknamed Jabba the Hutt, who was in Total Recall, who Arnie blows his head off.
That's right.
We don't know who he was, what his relationship was with Yves Perret.
No.
And then we got to see the late Michael Jeter, who was the voice analyst. And again, we knew that he was on the payroll, but again, there was no backstory to these guys.
No, but they do explain it later on in the movie, which was great.
Again,
But obviously, after being found guilty in court,
they got for their speeches, remember?
yeah, well,
That was a really, really good scene. And again, like we said before, you've got two differing styles of cop. You've got Stallone's character who gives a more eloquent, polished argument to say, you know what, I hope we don't get the whole LAPD police force is tarred by what has transpired here today. And Tango, you got Kurt Russell's character who says, you know what, this whole thing effing sucks. And he gets a round of applause. And I'm like, you know what?
that's right. He's just being real, because it was a stupid situation. I mean, they know they were innocent, and I'm sure their colleagues do as well.
Oh yeah.
But the evidence was there, and nonetheless they were shipped off to prison.
Mm-hmm. The wrong
At
prison
least
as well.
the wrong prison, and at least they were put in together, because they could have gone separate prisons.
Oh, yeah.
But obviously, while in prison, as everyone knows with these cop movies, no cop wants to be in prison with the people that they've put behind bars.
Oh yes.
And that's where we meet Robert Zarr, who's a very famous B-movie actor who plays what Stallone calls Conan.
Yeah.
And there's a hilarious scene with Robert Zarr, who actually starred in Maniac Cop. A very old 80s slasher. If you want to check it out, definitely check it out. And he also was in Samurai Cop, another legendary, hilarious, badly acted B movie. Well, he plays this character Conan, who definitely has a chip on his shoulder against Tango and Cash. And old Ray shows him a little something.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And again, in that scene, that's where you saw Tango could actually go with the best of them when he's provoked, because he said, you know, I'm going to tell you a nuance, and he puts his head up to the prison bars, causing him to bleed, and said, when you want me and my ass will be in the neighborhood.
He almost looked like Cash in that moment.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Something that Cash would do without thinking, yeah.
And what I love most about this film is the fact that the comedy moments were placed in the right time, because when they go to their respective cells, you got Cash, who has a comedic moment when he wants to use the toilet, but one of the convicts says, you know what, that crapper is mine. And when Cash wants to confront him and he sees the size of him and says, you know what, that is yours.
That is yours. And then we get Tango, who's got his jail cell buddy. Who's the guy that in his cell?
He doesn't actually get a name, but here's a bit of trivia for you guys. That is actually Ron Howard's brother. They call him Mr. Slinky.
Is that Ron Howard's brother?
Yeah. They starred in respective films together.
The director, Ron Howard?
Yeah, the one who was in Happy Days.
Happy Days.
And remember where Tango's reading the paper and the guy with the slinky tears it in half? And again, he was like saying, you know what, I'm still going to read it.
Yeah.
And at night, there's still some good comedic moments.
Oh, he wraps him up with the slinky, yeah.
Cash's character, he's lying on the bunk, and he's got the heavy convict who farts on top of him. That was a real funny scene.
The fart was hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
The shower scene was really hilarious as well, where we see Cash drop the soap.
And he goes, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah. Old Stallone thinks he's up to something. He goes, relax. Soap.
Don't flatter yourself, Pee-wee.
Don't flatter yourself, Pee-wee.
Oh, man. But then I think one of the high points in the film, one of the most exhilarating moments in the film was where these guys are abducted at night by respective convicts and thrown down a laundry chute.
That's right.
And they all gang up to try and fight them.
This is where Tango and Cash realise who's put them there, which has been the big question on their minds.
Yeah.
And we see that one of Yves Perret's henchmen, Mr. Potato Head,
Rakim, played by the late Brian James. Again, a lot of these guys have all passed away.
Yeah, it's amazing how many people from Tango and Cash aren't with us today. It's crazy.
Yeah, and Brian James with an appalling British accent.
Oh, his accent is terrible. Proper cock.
Right up there with the worst one with Dick Van Dyke and Don Cheadle. Those were rubbish.
It's hilarious, actually. it works, but in a hilarious way.
Yeah.
We get to see Mr. Potato Head in a scene later as well.
With a switchblade, his choice of weapon, wanting to kill people.
That's right. I'm going to cut you from ear to ear.
Yeah.
And there's a great fight scene that takes place in the boiler house. And then we see Yves Perret come out from the smoke and reveal what his plan has been.
Yeah.
And I guess when you do something like that, you want your enemies to know
who's doing it.
To know who's doing it. Hence him showing up in that scene.
Yeah, even in the shadows though, they don't get to see him physically, but they see him in the shadows and hear his voice.
And his voice, he tells them. Yeah.
And these guys are subjected to a torture by being electrocuted.
That's right. It was quite a torturous scene.
Yeah. Quite a shocking scene, I might add. Yeah. See, now that's a double impact there. See, now you know how it feels. Yeah.
Yeah, no, because this film is rated 18, right?
And you know what? Personally, it didn't deserve to be rated 18. There's nothing there that I think could put it up there with the likes of Cobra, Bloodsport, Terminator or Predator. You know, it's not that violent.
It's not that violent. I don't know why it got an 18, but hey.
Didn't deserve it. But anyhow, after that torture scene,
the escape scene, my God, one of my favourite parts of the films.
Because one of Cash's friends, one of his old colleagues, discovers that he's been set up and said, you know what, there's only one thing that you guys can do, and that is escape. Escape
and prove yourself innocent.
Precisely. Yeah. And in the beginning of the film, and in the beginning of that scene, Stallone's character doesn't want to escape, which I found to be quite weird. But then Cash takes his chances, and then when he sees that his friend Matt has been killed, slit.
That's right, by Mr. Potato Head. Yeah.
And one of my favourite scenes in the film was where the turbines turn around again, and he's got nowhere to escape, and then we see Ray just like block it.
Yeah, that's when we realised that Ray's wants to get away with Cash, and like basically they get up onto the roof, and Robert Czar returns. Yeah. And there's a nice quick little fight scene where where he gets electrocuted too.
And do you want to know what's so funny? Even leading up to that scene, the banter between them is just classic.
It just gets better and better, isn't it? Yeah.
I mean, like, Cash, do you know where you're going? Yeah. Are you sure you know where you're going? Then get your ass out my face and get there.
Yeah. And it also shows them starting to like each other as well at this part. They're obviously in it together now, and they know they have to work together to get out of here.
Exactly.
Which they do by going down a zip line.
Zip line, oh yeah.
And then they split ways. They part ways. And this is when they start to
respect one another
and try and find out exactly who framed them and how.
Exactly, because I remember that scene in particular that you just talked about where Gabriel Cash says, you know what, Ray, I really, really owe you one. Because he said, you know what, if it gets too hot for you out on the street, go to this couple, Cleopatra's, ask for Catherine and she'll know where to find me.
One of my favourite scenes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Cash goes to this club.
Yeah.
And, this is where we meet Terry Hatcher, a very young Terry Hatcher, in her first film role, I think. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, before she did the New Adventures of Superman.
That's
great
right.
TV show.
Great TV show. And she gets a fantastic intro where she's a dancer in a club, and we get the famous track from Yazoo, Don't Go.
Classic. I love that track. Classic.
That's right, yeah.
So after the dance scene, he asks for Catherine, and Terry Hatcher overhears that, and there's only one person who will call her Catherine, and that was like Ray Tango. So she knows that he's affiliated with him somehow.
Yeah, he sent him there.
So he has to escape, and he escapes in one of the most bizarre ways by dressing up as a woman. An appalling woman like that.
Well, he does. I thought he just about pulled it off. Yeah, it's hilarious. Yeah, he gets on the back of a motorbike, and
one of the cops tries to like chat them both up. So like, try to have a threesome and flick the cigarette.
Oh yeah, the cigarette flick. Yeah, that was hilarious. They go back to her place. That's right. Why was he topless and that? What happened? Like she was doing something, massaging him.
She was massaging him because she saw all the bruises on him, and like he had a slip disc, from like slipping down the zip wire.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And she tried to push it back in, and when Tango thinks that Cash is trying to put something else into his Terry Hatcher, and he storms through.
Yeah.
Because he's seen someone in the shadows. It's like his captain, and again just. One-liner after one-liner just works. Like when he smashes through the screen and he crushes his captain and said, like, he goes, Ray, is this how you screen all your suspects? I'm like, oh my word. The jokes are so bad, they're good.
That one was corny, yeah.
And again, more banter between Tango and Cash, and then the revelation that Catherine is not actually his girlfriend, but is actually his sister.
His sister, which makes Kurt Russell very happy, doesn't it?
Yes. But again, it was very, very clever the way that they did that. Yeah. Because again, we all assumed that it was just his, they had a relationship somewhere. But, there was some good action between Stallone and Terry Hatcher, saying like him playing the overprotective brother. And one of my favourite lines where he says, I've got to go because I've got to protect you from all the filth out there. And then Cash comes in and says, yeah, you see what I'm talking about? Oh man, classic film. And then that's when they discover who's who, like in the terms of the hierarchy of who they need to go after. So they need to go after Potato Head first.
Yeah.
Which
is a great scene, up on the roof.
Yeah, with the grenade.
Oh man, I love that scene. Yeah, they put the grenade and then they play the famous good cop, bad cop. And this is where they've definitely cemented their friendship, and you see that come of age.
Yeah.
And then they hang Mr. Potato Head off the roof.
Oh yeah.
Which is really hilarious.
Yeah. And Brian James, that British Cockney accent is just
I just can't I can't get over it.
It's agonizing, man.
It's horrendous.
Why not just have him play an American?
Yeah,
Do that.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know why they had to make him to be British. It's just weird. I mean, he probably thought, is there any chance I can try out my British Cockney accent?
And again, I think it's weird that they think that all Londoners speak with a Cockney accent. I think that's
I guess so. It's just the American way of thinking, don't they?
But after that, after some more banter, we get to see one of my favourite scenes where they meet up with Cash's weapons man, Owen, and he gives him the legendary
Owen.
truck.
That truck.
Oh boy.
My lord. What is that? Do you know what that truck is?
That is an RV from hell, my
It's
friend.
an RV from hell,
That's
man.
they get the truck and then they're going to go after the big boss, Perretti.
Yeah.
And then thus ensues that brilliant car chase and shootout.
Oh man, one of the biggest action scenes. They saved it till last.
Oh yeah.
Where they tear through. What is it? This
is like his base of operations.
It's his base of operations. Yeah, it's like a big construction yard, and all hell breaks loose. And we get to see what that RV from hell can do.
Oh yes, and it does a lot.
And there's some great classic American 80s explosions there. And they finally get into Perretti's lair or base. And he has Terry Hatcher as his hostage. And that's
another plot flaw for me. How did they actually get to her?
Yeah, we never really see what happened.
Yeah, we don't know how they got to her. They don't even know how the hell they knew who she was. But yeah, again, maybe that was something that was omitted during the rewrite.
Yeah, I mean,
but again, it was just classic action scenes. The banter between these two. They get their guns, like big guns that probably weren't even legal in the States, and they go after the main villain.
That's right, yeah.
And again, brilliant shootouts. And what I loved again was the final sequence between Tango Cash, Brian James's character, Mr. Potato Head, and there was another martial arts guy, and just the fighting between the two.
That's right. Yeah.
One structured, one unstructured.
Yeah.
Pretty much like Double Impact.
That's
Remember?
right, yeah. And then Perretti scene is almost reminiscent of Enter the Dragon with the he plays on the mirrors.
Yeah.
And Stallone figures out they don't know who to shoot because he's obviously got Terry Hatcher as his hostage.
Yeah.
But I think they go for the old classic middle one.
Yeah.
And Tango shoots him straight in the forehead.
And Cash with his gun boots.
Oh he jumps. Oh, classic. No, was it Cash that killed it, shot him?
No, they both did. Remember?
They both did. Yeah, but
kneecaps on two. So they go 1, 2, and then they both shoot him.
That's right. Yeah, great scene. Yeah.
And then after that, there's another classic 1980s scene, a scene that Stallone's well known for. That is running. And again, they need to run before the place explodes. And Stallone runs, and it just blows up.
Yeah, the old Hollywood explosion jump.
In slow-mo, yeah.
Brilliant, man.
And another one-liner. There's some pollution in the air, and it's called Perretti. And I'm like, oh, man, so bad that it's good, man.
It was a classic movie, man. I think we're going to have to watch that
absolutely.
After this review.
And those guys clear their names, and again, they're like redeemed cops.
Oh, yeah, it's a happy ending. They get redeemed. Everything goes back to normal. Do you think there should have been a sequel?
Hell to the no. I mean, there's even talk about on Wikipedia about doing a sequel, but these guys are in their 70s now.
No, it wouldn't work now. But they could have done a sequel.
Yeah,
but it's just where would have they gone with that? Obviously, they ended up working together in a way anyway. Yeah. So yeah, probably a sequel was not needed, to be honest.
And again, in this trend of sequels taking place some 3 decades after another film, you got like Maverick, like Top Gun 2, or Come to America 2. You know, it's unnecessary. But Tango and Cash, classic film. You got classic 80s music from Harold Faltermeyer.
Yeah,
who did Top Gun.
From Yazoo,
he did the soundtrack for Top Gun. He did Running Man. He did the iconic Axel Foley for Beverly Hills Cop. So it is a classic 80s film. It is a film that I can watch time again. Yeah,
and a great double act, just the same as Mel Gibson and Danny Glover in Lethal Weapon. Just as good. It obviously never got the sequels that Lethal Weapon did, but yeah, that for me, Stallone and Russell, they kept that film gel together.
Absolutely.
And a fantastic performance from Jack Palance as Perretti.
Absolutely.
Was really the limited time that he did have on screen. I thought he knocked it out of the park. So guys, that's pretty much it. I really hope that you guys enjoyed our retro flashback of Tango and Cash. Please guys, if you like the video, give us a thumbs up. And please, as I said before at the start of the video, subscribe to our channel.
Absolutely. Mr. P Movie Film Review.
and the Joe Cobra YouTube channel. And we will see you guys hopefully on the next joint review with me, Mr. P. Hopefully it won't be that long this next time.
What film are we going to review next?
I don't know. Maybe down in the comments, guys, if you want an old classic revisited by me and Mr. P, please in the comments down below, let us know. And whenever we get the chance, we'll get round to doing it. But for now, thank you guys for watching. And we'll see you guys next time. Take care and bye-bye.
Take care.